Hi everyone, Preppin' Mama here. Welcome back to my channel. I have some news. We bought a church. Yes, we did. Stay tuned and I'll tell you all about it. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I talk about all things preparedness, but I'm also a mom of 7 who does way too many different things because I can't help myself. So sometimes I just talk about my crazy life and all the things that I have going on. So I'm sitting out in my side yard tonight. I've had a heck of a weekend. I've been busy every night this weekend, which is really unusual for us, but just so happened we had a bunch of stuff going on, and I just got home from a wedding, and I wanted to finally share with you about our little adventure of expanding our property. So several months ago, I think I shared with you guys that we were trying to add on to the property that we have, and that did not go into the direction that we thought it would. It ended up going into an interesting direction. So we bought a church. It happens to be next door. So we're kind of situated in an area where we really don't have neighbors. Like, we have a funeral home, church, a field, kind of swampy stuff going on, and that's it. So last fall we decided, hey, let's see if the church wants to sell their property. Their pastor's in his 90s. They have very few members, and we just thought, hey, let's just see. So we did, and they got all excited, and they decided, okay, let's do this, and they decided to go put an offer on another property. So they got dollar signs in their eyes. Then they came back and said what they wanted for the property that they're selling, and it wasn't what we'd originally agreed to. So we just said, forget it, we're not paying that much for it. It's got a lot of deferred maintenance, it needs a new roof, so on and so forth. It's not in great shape. The reason we wanted it is because it's zoned commercial. It's next to our house. Our well is actually on it. We have a shared well, and we did not want it to be developed. So basically we're just trying to protect ourselves and our boundaries. So anyway, we walked away, and in the meantime they had met with a realtor and gotten really excited, so they put it on the market. Okay, so you might remember in early spring or late winter me saying, hey, we're going to add on to our dining room, and I was excited, whatever. After I posted that video, within 24 hours, the realtor called us and said, we're ready to talk. So this is like 6 months later, 6 months after we said, hey, we'd like to buy that from you guys if you're willing to sell. So anyway, she calls and says, hey, we're interested in talking to you guys about buying the property. So my husband said, well, this is what we're willing to give for it. So she called the church and the pastor and asked him, and he said, yeah, he'd agree to that. So we said, okay, we'll put it in writing. So we put it in writing, and they came back and tried to counter. And we're like, what are you guys doing? You agreed verbally on this price. So anyway, we went back and forth with them, and we basically just walked away, and they came back and ended up agreeing to what we wanted. So I think with the back and forth and everything, we ended up agreeing to paying a little of the closing. So we ended up paying about $5,000 more than we wanted to, but that was fine with us. But we told them we're not going any further than that. You can forget it, because how many people are going to want to buy a church in disrepair, a church that has some code issues? And that's kind of yucky, but we're not afraid of that kind of stuff, but your average person, would really get discouraged looking at it. So they came back and agreed, and so we got it. We closed on June 12th, which is, I think it ended up being a 2-month escrow, which is not what we wanted, but they needed to get their stuff together. So we closed June 12th, and we had agreed in escrow paperwork to give them 7 days beyond that to get out. Well, June 19th comes along, and they're still in there. that was Tuesday. Was that Tuesday? I think June 19th was Tuesday. Well, no, they should have been out the 18th because that was the 7th day. So they're not out the 18th. They're not out the 19th. They're not out the 20th. They finally got out. Well, they finally got out the 22nd. So 10 days after escrow. Well, technically 11 days. They're finally out. So it's getting late and I'm losing light, so I can't take you on a tour of it today, but that is the plan soon. What are we going to do with this thing? One of the first things we're going to do is we're going to fence the property because there's a lot of people who pull into the parking lot and sit, or pull into the parking lot and kick up dust. You can walk, it's a corner lot, so you can walk from the front to the back and cut across the property, which is a security issue for us. So we're going to fully fence this property. That is our first priority. After that, I think we're going to sit with it a bit. We have a lot of ideas about expanding garden area. It's a half an acre, so we're more than tripling our land. So there's a lot of space to expand orchard. There's a lot of space to expand gardens. There's space for a cut flower garden or a cottage garden, which my husband kind of strangely, I know that sounds strange, it should be me, right? But I'm like all into the growing food, and he's like, I really want, flowers, and I want to be able to cut flowers and stuff. And I mean, I want that too, but when given a certain amount of space, my priority is food production. So this is actually the perfect setup for that. The front yard of that is the perfect setup for that once we have it fully fenced. So anyway, it's about 2,700 square feet. Part of that is an attic space that is right now 4 rooms, and there is no plumbing upstairs at all in the attic space, and the stair situation is not good. So the stairs would be our second priority. Actually, my second priority is to remove the church steeple. This building was originally a home, and when the old lady who had it passed away, it ended up becoming a church. And I'm not sure if it's because she donated it to the church or what. But anyway, I actually want to go down to the city and find out what they know about that. But anyway, the whole point is to secure our well so we don't have to share it anymore, and we'll be more comfortable with putting a hand pump on it for prepping reasons, right? And just to secure that property so it cannot be developed and turned into a mini mart or something like that, because we live in a kind of a unique space where our lot is zone commercial. So even though there's a home here, it's zone commercial. Anything on the corners here are zone commercial, and anything next to them. So we don't want that to be commercial, or if it's commercial, we want it to be used by us commercially. We don't want it to end up, being something else. So anyway, that's why we bought it. We have a lot of different ideas about how to use it. Like I said, we have not firmed up those ideas. We want to sit with it for a while. We just know we need to secure it. So changing the locks and fully fencing it is our first priority. So that this project's going to be a large project, and it's going to be a long one, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So we don't have buckets of money to pour into this thing or anything like that, and we're not going to start doing anything until we know for sure what we want to do. But some of the ideas we've tossed around is renting out the bottom floor. We've considered making the attic an Airbnb. There's a shed that's going to be my potting shed / apothecary shed. That's like a for sure thing. If the floor is not crumbling anyway, And we are going to be moving our vermiculture setup over there. Now, my husband has been working on a vermiculture setup, for growing worms and for using the castings in compost tea, which we already do. And he has been hesitant to set it up here because we've been doing this escrow thing and dealing with trying to buy this church property, and he didn't want to set it up here if he was going to end up moving it. So basically this has held us up for 2 months, but one of the first projects that we're going to work on is getting that vermiculture set up over there, and we're going to probably put up some kind of open-ended carport situation, like a metal one, excuse me, to put that in. We might put that in the existing garage, we're not sure. And then my son has a log splitter that we'll be putting in a carport over there, so he can work on that project, the wood cutting projects over there. That part of our family industry business thing that we've got going on to teach our kids, you know, entrepreneurship. So anyway, life is never boring here. My husband and I are both very goal-oriented. We like projects. Working on things is stimulating to our brains. We like to, we just enjoy doing all those kinds of things. Sorry, I've got mosquitoes. Mosquitoes messing with me. I want to say we thrive on working on projects. So we always have a lot of things going on. I don't share them all with you guys because you might think we're nuts. I'm not sure. You might think we don't sleep, which that's actually something that, well, that's kind of possible. But anyway, I'll be giving updates on that soon. I was going to give you a tour of it, probably gross stuff and all. If you guys don't care, I'll show you a tour of the gross stuff and all. And then I have garden updates coming up. I've got some van organization and different things coming up that I'm going to be doing that I was going to film for you. And I have a lot of pantry work to do. And I'm going to be starting a 2-week pantry challenge, which basically means I'm not going to go shopping for 2 weeks. I am going to use down and use up what's in my freezer and my pantry, and I'm going to share with you about that too. The other things I'm doing is I'm harvesting some of my medicinals right now and drying them. So I'll give you an update on that soon too. But anyway, that's what's going on here. Always something, right? Or if you don't know that yet, you will soon. You keep watching. So I'm just sitting out on our side yard and getting some peace out here in Tickville. Unfortunately, I'll probably have to go check myself over when I get back in because we've had a lot of ticks this year. And I don't know about you guys, but the earwigs, oh my goodness, the earwigs. I hate those things. Anyway, I'll sign out now, but yes, we bought a church. Yes, we might be slightly nuts. No, we don't know exactly what we're doing with it, but I guarantee you it will be interesting, or at least it'll be interesting to us, and I'll be sharing it with you. So anyway, thanks for joining me tonight, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I talk about all things preparedness, and I'm dealing with prepping and preparedness from a standpoint of a mom of 7. I do have 2 out of the nest, but they both have different health issues, and I do prep with them in mind as well because they live locally, and if anything were to happen, they might end up home. And I've got other children at home, 5 more children at home, one of which is disabled. She will be with us forever. And another one that has some other types of health issues, and my husband and I have issues too. We basically, thank you, MTHFR gene mutations, but that's where we're at. So I'm dealing with all that. I'm dealing with trying to prep with our health in mind, and so anyway, that it just makes it a little more challenging, but also maybe a little more interesting. And maybe I am not alone. Maybe there are more of you out there that are doing the same thing, and you would like to hear about how we do it. So I don't want you to have to reinvent the wheel if I've already done it. So I'm here to share with you about that. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm going to go head in and hug my babies, and I will see you soon. Talk to you later.